The comparison to Yoda in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, you know Yoda.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be hobbling around, doing whatever. But when Yoda goes to battle, you can't be Yoda.
I don't see Jake doing much against Mike.
Like right now, I'm scared to death. But as the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become because it's reality. And in reality, I'm invincible. Day 3, you still want to fuck with me? Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
All right, so check this out. You're not gonna believe what just went down with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I'm telling you, this is some wild stuff. So there's this big live event, right? And out of nowhere, Iron Mike shows up looking absolutely jacked. I mean, the dude is huge. People are freaking out, jaws on the floor. Apparently, Tyson's been hitting the gym hard, getting ready for this fight with Jake Paul. And let me tell you, he looks scary as hell. Like, prime Tyson levels of intimidating. Word on the street is he's been training like a madman, living in the gym, eating nothing but raw eggs and steel nails or something. I don't know, but whatever he's doing, it's working. So anyway, Tyson struts out on stage, right? And the crowd goes nuts. He's flexing, showing off those massive biceps, looking like he could punch through a brick wall. Then he grabs the mic and starts talking about how he's gonna eat Paul's children, or some crazy stuff like that.
Listen, will you please promise me you're gonna kick this guy's ass and shut him up, please?
Hey, I will do just that for you. Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him. Just come to the fight and you'll see.
Classic Tyson, am I right? But you could tell he wasn't joking around. The look in his eyes was intense, man. Like serial killer intense. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Allegedly, Logan Paul, yeah, Jake's brother, he's there too. And get this, he allegedly starts talking about how Jake is, and I quote, absolutely fucked. Can you believe that? His own brother.
Do you believe that I will actually beat Mike Tyson?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Same footage you saw, and I think that everyone has seen, because
Yeah.
it gets 60 million views a pop on IG. And like, I know he's old, but goddamn, he can hit so hard and he's still so fast in the ring.
Logan's going on about how he's never seen Tyson look this good. How Jake has no idea what he's gotten himself into. He's practically writing Jake's obituary right there on stage. But wait, it gets better. Jake Paul himself shows up trying to act all tough and confident, but you could tell he was shook. I mean, who wouldn't be? He's standing there next to Tyson and he looks like a little kid. Tyson's just staring him down, not saying a word, and Jake's trying to talk trash, but his voice is shaking. It was honestly kind of hard to watch. Then, out of nowhere, Tyson just lunges at Jake. For a second, everyone thought he was going to take a bite out of Jake's ear or something. Jake nearly fell off the stage trying to back away. It was chaos, man. Security had to step in and separate them. And Tyson, he's just laughing like a maniac the whole time. Now, I gotta say, I've seen a lot of pre-fight hype events, but this was something else. The energy in that room was electric. You could feel the tension, the excitement, the fear. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion. You know it's going to be bad, but you can't look away. So here's the thing. We all know Jake Paul's been talking a big game lately, right? Taking on all these retired fighters, acting like he's the next Muhammad Ali or something. But Tyson? That's a whole different ball game. This isn't some washed-up MMA guy or a basketball player trying to box. This is Iron Mike Tyson we're talking about, the baddest man on the planet.
I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. And before I come out, my gloves are laced up. I'm breaking my gloves down. I'm pushing the lever in the back of my glove. I'm breaking the middle of the glove so my knuckle could pierce through the leather. I feel my knuckle piercing against the tight leather gloves on the everlast boxing glove. When I come out, I have supreme confidence.
Oh, what a left hook. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell as the big right hand lands. Tyson knows he's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it, Richard Steele has
The guy who terrorized the heavyweight division for years, and let me tell you, based on what I saw at that event, Jake Paul is in serious trouble. I mean, did you see those pictures of Tyson that are going around? The dude looks like he's been carved out of granite. His arms are the size of tree trunks. I heard someone say he looks like he's been injecting steroids directly into his eyeballs. Now, I'm not saying that's true, but damn, it wouldn't surprise me. But hey, let's be real for a second. We all know these events can be a bit theatrical, right? Like, maybe Tyson's not really as jacked as he looked under those lights. Maybe it was all clever angles and good lighting. And Jake Paul, for all his faults, isn't completely hopeless in the ring. He's got some skills, even if he's never faced anyone close to Tyson's level. Still, though, I can't help but think about what Logan said. If Jake's own brother thinks he's screwed, what does that tell you? Logan's seen Jake train. He knows what he's capable of. And he still thinks Tyson's gonna wipe the floor with him? That's gotta sting. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But Tyson's old. He's past his prime. Jake's got youth on his side. And yeah, that's true. Tyson isn't the same fighter he was in his 20s. But let me ask you this. Would you want to get hit by Mike Tyson, even if he was 80 years old? I sure as hell wouldn't. And let's not forget, Tyson's been in the game for decades. He's forgotten more about boxing than Jake Paul will ever know. The experience gap here is massive. It's like a little league player going up against a major league all-star. Sure, maybe the kid gets lucky and hits a home run, but chances are he's going to strike out hard. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm completely writing off Jake Paul here. The kid's got heart, I'll give him that. He's taken on some tough opponents and come out on top. And who knows, maybe he's been training like a demon, getting ready for the fight of his life. Maybe he's got some tricks up his sleeve that we don't know about. But man, after seeing Tyson at that event, I just don't know. The way he moved, the way he talked, the look in his eyes, it was like seeing the old Tyson again. The guy who used to knock people out in the first round. The guy who struck fear into the hearts of world champions.
What happened? What was all the delay about before? Do you think Michael just didn't want this to get here this quick?
I think he was trying to scrutinize with my brain and make me wait it out. But, you know, I was getting upset. I wanted to go. I'm the kind of guy who just want to fight. Let's get in there and fight.
That was a right to the body and an uppercut to the head, and Burbick is down. It's over. That's all.
And can we talk about that stare down for a second? Holy crap. I've seen less intense staring contests between hungry lions and injured gazelles. Tyson was looking at Jake like he was a juicy steak, and Tyson hadn't eaten in weeks. And Jake? He was trying to act tough, but you could see it in his eyes. He was scared. And honestly, who could blame him? Now here's where it gets really interesting. Apparently there was this private behind-the-scenes conversation where Tyson was talking to some of his old boxing buddies. And word is, he was saying some pretty wild stuff. Like apparently he told them he's been training 20 hours a day, sleeping in an oxygen chamber and eating nothing but raw meat and lightning bolts. Okay, I made that last part up, but you get the idea. The point is, Tyson's taking this seriously. Really seriously. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating, because let's be honest, a lot of us thought this fight was going to be a joke, right? Like, oh, here's Mike Tyson cashing in on the celebrity boxing craze. But now it's starting to look like Tyson's out for blood. Like he wants to prove something. Like he wants to show the world that he's still the baddest man on the planet.
Any dislike for Jake Paul? Like, you want to teach him a lesson?
I will do just that, but dislike him? No, I don't. I do not have no grudges against him. He's beautiful, and no, it's not from that perspective. This is from my point of view of grabbing glory. You know, never for money, only glory.
And Jake Paul? Well, he might just be the unlucky punching bag Tyson uses to make his point. But here's the thing. As crazy as all this is, as one-sided as it might seem, we can't forget that anything can happen in boxing. I mean, we've seen some wild upsets over the years, right? Douglas knocking out Tyson, Ali beating Foreman. Heck, even some of Jake Paul's wins were pretty surprising.
And still undefeated, the problem child, Jake Paul!
Everything that Paul is feeding him.
The referee's close. He's paying close attention right now. Good shot.
There's the jabs you were talking about.
Oh,
Tyron. Oh,
man.
That one caught him good. Paul.
I think that's the one.
Right hand. This may be it. Right hand. And he's down for a third time.
Oh.
And now wave it off. There is a new king of violence.
So yeah, maybe Jake's got a chance. Maybe he's been training harder than we think. Maybe he's got some secret weapon we don't know about. Or maybe, just maybe, Tyson's transformation isn't as dramatic as it looked under those lights. Maybe it was all smoke and mirrors, you know. But man, I wouldn't bet on it. Not after what I saw at that event. Not after hearing what Logan said. Not after seeing that look in Tyson's eyes. You know what's really wild about all this? The way it's got everyone talking. I mean, everywhere I go, people are debating this fight. At the gym, at work, online. Everyone's got an opinion. Some people think Jake's gonna get murdered in the ring, others think he might actually have a shot. And then there's the conspiracy theorists who think the whole thing is rigged. And that's what makes boxing so great, isn't it? The drama, the speculation, the what-ifs. It's like a soap opera, but with punching. Now let's talk about Jake Paul for a second. Love him or hate him, you've got to admit the kid's got guts. I mean, taking on Mike Tyson, that's either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Maybe both. But you know what? Win or lose, Jake's gonna come out of this with a ton of publicity. And let's face it, that's what he's all about, right? But here's the question, is it worth it? Is any amount of fame or money worth getting in the ring with a fired-up Mike Tyson? Because let's be real, even if Jake somehow manages to win, he's probably gonna take a hell of a beating in the process. And if he loses, well, let's just say he might need to invest in some really good health insurance. And what about Tyson? What's his end game here? Is he just in it for the payday? Or is there something more? Because from what I saw at that event, this isn't just business for Iron Mike. This is personal. It's like he's on a mission to prove something. To show the world that he's still got it. That he can still strike fear into the hearts of opponents. And man, if that event was anything to go by, mission accomplished. I mean, did you see the way people were looking at him? It was like they were seeing a ghost. The ghost of the old Tyson. The unstoppable force that dominated boxing for years. But here's the million-dollar question. Can he back it up in the ring? Because looking scary is one thing. Actually performing when the bell rings, that's something else entirely. And let's not forget, Tyson's not a young man anymore. He's been out of the game for a while. Yeah, he had that exhibition bout with Roy Jones Jr., but that was basically a glorified sparring session. This is supposed to be the real deal. So what happens if Tyson gasses out after a few rounds? What happens if all that muscle slows him down? What happens if Jake manages to weather the early storm and starts picking Tyson apart in the later rounds? These are the questions that are keeping boxing fans up at night. Because as one-sided as this fight might seem on paper, we all know that anything can happen once that bell rings. Now let's talk about the impact this fight could have on the boxing world, because make no mistake, this isn't just another celebrity boxing match. This is Mike freaking Tyson we're talking about. One of the greatest heavyweights of all time. A legend of the sport.
Tyson, and within seconds, Savarese is down on the canvas.
I told you Savarese was going to underestimate his speed and his power.
If Tyson comes out and demolishes Jake Paul, it could be a wake-up call for all these YouTubers and influencers who think they can just waltz into professional boxing. It could be Tyson's way of saying, hey, this is a serious sport, it's not a game. It's not something you do for clicks and views. It's dangerous, it's brutal, and if you're not prepared, you can get hurt. On the other hand, if Jake Paul somehow pulls off the upset, man, that would turn the boxing world upside down. It would be like a real-life Rocky story. The young upstart taking down the legendary champion. It would probably open the floodgates for even more celebrity boxing matches. And who knows? Maybe we'd see Jake Paul challenging for a real-world title next. But let's be real for a second. The odds of that happening pretty damn slim. Because based on what we saw at that event, Tyson isn't messing around. He's not showing up for a payday or a bit of fun. He's there to do damage. And that's what makes this whole thing so compelling. It's not just a fight, it's a clash of worlds. Old school versus new school. Boxing legend versus social media star. Experience versus youth. It's like a movie script come to life, but here's the thing. In the movies, the underdog usually wins. In real life, not so much. Especially when the favorite is a guy like Mike Tyson. Now, I know some people are saying this whole thing is disrespectful to boxing.
Oh, man. Honestly, I just think it's sad, bro. I think it's super sad. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. Literally, he knocks out Mike Tyson and he's beaten, what? An OAP.
That it's turning a noble sport into a circus. And yeah, I get that. But you know what? Boxing has always had a bit of circus to it. It's always been about more than just the fight. It's about the personalities, the drama, the spectacle. And let's be honest, when was the last time you saw this much buzz around a boxing match? When was the last time you saw people who don't even follow boxing getting excited about a fight? This thing is bringing new eyes to the sport. And maybe, just maybe, some of those people will stick around. Maybe they'll discover the beauty and the skill and the drama of real boxing. Or maybe they'll just tune in to see Jake Paul get his head knocked off. Either way, it's good for boxing. But let's get back to that event for a second. Because there was something else that happened that I think is worth talking about. At one point, someone in the crowd yelled out something about Tyson's past legal troubles. And man, the look Tyson gave that guy, I thought he was going to jump off the stage and start another brawl right there. But instead, Tyson just smiled. This cold, scary smile. And he said something like, "You think that bothers me? I've been to hell and back. You think I'm scared of some YouTube kid? I eat guys like him for breakfast." And in that moment, I think everyone in that room realized something. This isn't the Mike Tyson of old. This isn't the troubled kid from Brooklyn who let his demons get the better of him. This is a man who's faced his darkest moments and come out the other side. A man with nothing to lose and everything to prove. And that, my friends, is a very dangerous man. So yeah, Jake Paul might have youth on his side. He might have some skills. He might have a whole army of social media followers cheering him on. But after seeing Tyson at that event, after hearing what he said, after seeing that look in his eyes, I wouldn't bet against Iron Mike. Not for all the money in the world. But hey, that's just my take on it. What do you guys think? Is Jake Paul in over his head? Or does he actually have a shot against Tyson? Is this fight good for boxing? Or is it making a mockery of the sport? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you all think about this crazy situation. And remember, this is boxing we're talking about. Anything can happen. That's why they actually have the fights instead of just deciding the winner based on who looks scarier at the press conference. But man, if I was Jake Paul, I'd be hitting the gym hard, like really hard, and maybe looking into some good life insurance policies, just in case, because Iron Mike is coming. And if that event was anything to go by, he's coming with bad intentions. So there you have it, folks. The stage is set for what might be the craziest, most unexpected boxing match in recent memory.
Jake Paul, he keeps saying he wants to fight you. Do you want to fight him?
That could be very interesting.
It could be interesting.
Mike Tyson says, let's do this. Are you down?
100%.
Tyson versus Jake Paul would be the best fight fucking ever.
How would you feel if you stepped into the ring with Iron Mike?
I would beat him.
Could you fuck him up?
Oh, so fucking easy.
You versus Jake Paul, like this young YouTuber takes on one of the greatest heavyweight champions that's ever lived.
I'm the best ever.
That fight would be gigantic.
Let's do it, Jakey.
A clash of generations, of cultures, of fighting styles. A legend looking to remind the world of his greatness versus a young upstart trying to prove he belongs in the same ring as the greats. It's going to be wild. It's going to be controversial. It's probably going to be a bit ridiculous. But you know what? I can't wait to see it, and I bet you can't either. So mark your calendars. Set your alarms. Do whatever you need to do. Because when Mike Tyson and Jake Paul step into that ring, you're not going to want to miss it. It might be a fight for the ages. Or it might be a total train wreck. Either way, it's going to be one hell of a show. And isn't that what boxing is all about?
Have winning this fight, and how do you?
Absolutely. I got Mike Tyson on the line.
So you have Mike Tyson. What do you think the outcome of this fight is going to be?
Mike Tyson all the way, bro. Mike Tyson all the way.
Winning this fight, and by what outcome?
Mike Tyson all the way. Legendary is going to win by a knockout.
Let's go, Jake Paul!
Mike Tyson!
Mike's going to whoop his ass.
I think Mike is he's gonna do his thing. I'm going for the greatest of all time. That's Mike Tyson, bro.
I mentioned many details of this saga, but there's something else very huge that is happening in the wait for this fight. So check out this deep dive where I'll tell you other rumors that are buzzing in the boxing community. You will learn new shocking claims that are attracting people's attention. Click on the screen to watch the deep dive, and thanks for watching this video.